It's always good to catch up with the voice of Championship Wrestling, and he's joining me right now. What's up, Todd Keneley?
What's going on, 5-star? How are
Oh,
you?
man, I am doing good, and I am waiting for Saturday. It's finally here after 5 long months. We have brand new matches, brand new faces. All the stars of Championship Wrestling are back for new action, and guess who was on the call for every single bit of it? You!
You're right about that. You know what? It has been a long time coming for it to want to be time to fight on, but it's time to fight on. I am so excited. The great fans in Memphis are going to love what's coming their way, and a whole lot of it coming their way.
Yes. Now, of course, I keep up with you on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else that I possibly can. But kind of take us behind the scenes. We talked to David Marquez a couple of weeks ago. We talked to John Roberts last week, and he gave us a little kind of sneak peek back there. But how was it for you returning, not only without having fans, but then just catching up with everybody? What was different back there?
Catching up with everybody was great. First and foremost, and I think John Roberts mentioned that it was like a reunion. I mean, these are people that we haven't seen in months, and our locker room really is. You've been there. You've been to Ocean View Pavilion. It really is a tight knit family-like atmosphere, and we've missed each other, and our roster has missed competing, and I've missed calling, and so it was great. First and foremost, it was just great to see everybody. As John had mentioned, there were a lot of safety precautions. I got the nose swab of doom, prior, and but it was well worth it. And it was just great being back in the mix. And with no fans, yes, that as a commentator is a challenge, but it really enabled me and Blake Troop to just get down to really analyzing the action. That sportscast feel, and Blake's great at that because of his his MMA background, and I feel I always give my call kind of that sports feel, and it was great because we never had the the atmosphere. Let's take a step back and listen to the crowd. We could really dive in to the action, tell the stories of the athletes, and remind our fans a little bit about who they are and what makes them so impressive as a competitor. And it was great. We got to do that much more without having the fans there as a crutch to listen to how crazy this is. We didn't have that.
That's a great perspective too, because a lot of the people that are listening now, the fans that watch, they probably haven't looked at it from your perspective, because a lot of your sound bites, and by the way, I know I say it every time, but I'm a huge fan of those sound bites, but a lot of your sound bites are feeding off the energy of the crowd. And without them being there, it seems like you'd have to kind of adjust and do it a little bit differently anyway.
Yes, but in essence, and I've said this many times, I'm first and foremost a wrestling fan, and I don't manufacture any of my love for professional wrestling. It's real, and so it in essence made me a fan in the building. I was a fan in Ocean View, so then I am kind of the liaison now between being a fan and a commentator and the fans watching at home, and it didn't affect me as much as I thought. I thought it was going to feel like we were just constantly talking or trying to kill dead air, but the performers are characters as well. And I think in this era of the pandemic in pro wrestling, I think in one way it forces the commentators to work harder and be better, but the performers as well. You get to see so much more of the character and hear it. They're so much more vocal in their matches when there's not that crowd. And so I think obviously we don't want it this way forever. We want our fans back in the building. We want that energy, but I think it does in a weird way bring the fans closer to the performers themselves, because it's just so much more intimate when you're watching at home and you hear all those things.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And talking about working harder, not only in the ring, but at the broadcast booth, brother, how many matches did you call over that 2-day period of brand new wrestling tapings?
I believe we called a total of 29 matches.
Wow.
So, we definitely took advantage of getting back in the Ocean View Pavilion we got you covered out there on CW30 for the next few weeks. That's for sure.
I love it. I've got to ask you though. All right, so is it Bang Energy? Is it Monster Energy? Did you drink a pot of coffee? How do you stay up for that long?
Yeah, man. You know what? I got to tell you, I was a huge energy drink, just like junkie for a long time, man. Monster was kind of my go-to. Then I tried Bang, but I've been trying to wean myself off of that, and just to be back calling matches. I was so jacked, man, that I did not need the caffeine that day, over the weekend.
Yeah, so September 5th, man, that is this coming Saturday. The wait is almost over. Are there any, no spoilers, but are there any names or anything that the fans should be on lookout for, just to tease us just a little bit, Todd?
It's going to be exciting. Things definitely, there's going to be some shakeups, and we had, some difference in creative. I think I can say that, Aaron the Idol Stevens is involved in creative. Obviously, he has an incredible wrestling mind, and on top of being a wonderful thespian. So he really brought a whole new energy and was able to work with the talent. But in terms of, you're going to see your favorites, champions will return. And now it's time for them. Champions got their title reigns padded a little bit, right, with this pandemic. So now it's time for them to give back. They're going to have to defend those titles. So look for champions to return, and some names that we've seen but not too often on our program. So we have like 4 Minutes of Heat, great tag team return. I'm sure the fans at Memphis love them. They're a real throwback, and just such a fun team to watch. And then guys like Will All Day, that was a longtime television champion at Booker T's Reality of Wrestling in Texas. He's been featured on our program in the past. He was back involved. And then again, our relationship, the United Wrestling Network, is really branching out. And so obviously we're going to be working with the National Wrestling Alliance for Primetime Live. But as you know, we've also had David Marquez has had a great relation for years and years with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and our staff worked heavily on the production of Lions Break Collision and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, both of which were shot at the Ocean View Pavilion. So you might see some faces there. So for instance, Clark Connors, who's a New Japan Young Lion, is just a phenomenal looking athlete. And being a young lion, you're going to have that kind of, limited moveset, but everything he does is so fundamentally sound, so crisp. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So when you put a Clark Connors in there with somebody that maybe is a high risk guy that will take chances, they say styles makes fights, and that styles clash is really interesting to watch when you have a Clark Connors in there.
Oh man, if I wasn't excited before, I am just super excited at this point. You just dropped the NWA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, United Wrestling Network. Oh my gosh, I am fired up about Saturday. So that's our official return to live production. It comes up this Saturday, September 5th, of course, at high noon on CW30 here in Memphis, and of course on YouTube Premiere, which you joined a lot of the chats, and we appreciate that. But I've got to ask you, before I let you go, you dropped United Wrestling Network Primetime Live on me, and in just a couple of weeks ago, David Marquez said that you, Todd Keneley, will be on the call for that brand new pay-per-view series that launches on Tuesday, September 15th. What do you know about that? What can you tell us about that?
Well, first and foremost, yeah, I'm super excited and it's a great honor, that the company is going to use me in that role, and it's I love the excitement and the pressure of being live.
Yes, sir.
But things have started to, as we get closer, things have started to ramp up in terms of what we are finding out. We now know that NWA World's Women's Champion Thunder Rosa will be on the program at some time. I don't know that she'll be in a match in the first week, but I know that she's going to be on there, and she's obviously created a huge buzz that she will be battling for the AEW Women's title with Hikaru Shida at All Out. And so, I mean, who knows, she might be coming in with both titles.
Right.
Pay-per-view. So, that's a huge acquisition, I think, for the series. And then also the first officially signed match was recently announced by David Marquez. So we're going to have EJ Sparks, who is a great talent in the United Wrestling Network. He's a 3-time Arizona State champion, and he's going to be battling Hammerstone. And fans may know Hammerstone as the openweight champion at MLW. He's a guy that has been on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood in the past. The guy is just a freakish athlete and incredible talent, and he is the current West Coast Pro Wrestling champion. So that's another one of the promotions that partners with us. They present our broadcasts of Championship Wrestling up in the Bay Area in Northern California. So Hammerstone and EJ Sparks right out of the chute, title match. So that's I think interesting too, is it kind of shows that the door is open. Yeah. Hammerstone isn't somebody that's actively been competing in the United Wrestling Network lately, but with a lot of promotions not running right now, Primetime Live can really be a showcase and an open door, and all are welcome. And it's going to be interesting to see who walks through that door.
I cannot wait. Todd, it has been a real pleasure. I've got to have you sign off the only way that we know how, right? Could you do that for us?
Just days away. Count down the days, the hours, the minutes, the seconds, the milliseconds, because coming up on Saturday, once again, it's time to fight on.